What's up guys, it's Abe Daddy. Happy New Year and welcome to my channel. So on this channel I'm going to be reviewing games and letting you guys know if it's good or if it's ass. So the first game that we're going to be starting off with is The Last Guardian, a game that I was really excited for and definitely didn't let me down. So without further ado, let's take a look at The Last Guardian. So the game starts with you waking up and immediately you have a lot of questions. Who am I? What are all these markings on my body? Where am I? And what is this giant beast laying beside me? Eventually, all these questions will be answered. So you get up and try to befriend this beast that you named Trico. You realize that Trico is injured, so you decide to try and help Trico by giving it food and mending to its wounds. But initially, it doesn't really appreciate that very much. You awaken to find that Trico now feels a lot better and has therefore accepted your companionship. From this point forward, the game really begins to shine.
So the main objective of the game is to get through this giant environment that you're in and protect Trico while he protects you. You guys are a team, and neither of you would be able to escape without the other's help. Sometimes Trico protects you from enemies, and other times you protect Trico by opening doors and pulling spears out of its back. You do a variety of different puzzles throughout the game to advance further in your environment. One puzzle you see quite often are these trippy looking mirrors that for some reason scare Trico. To advance, you must find a way to destroy the mirrors. So usually you're looking around and... Wait, did he shit? What the hell is this stuff? It doesn't look like shit, but it came out of nowhere and it's right under his ass. So I guess these mirrors literally scare the shit out of Trico. Anyways, so you pick up his shit and use it to smash the mirror. That's lovely. That's some real teamwork right there. The big question that I had before playing this game was, who is the Last Guardian? Initially, I assumed that Trico was the Last Guardian. However, by the end of the game, that question is never really answered. A valid argument as to who is the Last Guardian could be made for both the boy and Trico, which is something that I think is very interesting. Something that I've seen a lot of people complaining about is how Trico doesn't always respond to your commands immediately. There's times when you're giving him a command and he kind of just looks back at you like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. While I admit that this can be frustrating, I think it was a conscious decision by the developers so that Trico feels more real. You know, and that makes sense. For example, we all have had or have been around someone else's pet before. Now this pet may be very smart and know commands very well, but does your pet always respond to your commands immediately? Usually I have to say the commands to my dogs multiple times before they finally do what I ask. Sometimes they ignore me completely. So if that's the case, what makes you think that a big-ass fucking cat, dog, goat, bird thing would respond to commands immediately, let alone at all? I think this adds a lot to the believability of Trico, and while at times it would really piss me off, looking back, it's a mechanic that I appreciate and I wouldn't change. Overall, the graphics are pretty good. There's a couple of occasions where you can tell that the game's been in development for about 10 years, but for the most part the game looks gorgeous, especially the environments. So your environments change throughout the game. Sometimes you'll be outside surrounded by beautiful green trees and sunshine, while other times you'll be inside of a dark old temple with ancient writing all over the walls. One of my favorite areas was this place that looked like some sort of old coliseum. It had this lonely type of vibe that I really enjoyed. And I think that that's one of the many themes of this game. You're alone. All you have is Trico, and all Trico has is you. Alright, so Trico is amazing. After an hour of playing, I was so blown away by how realistic Trico's movements and actions are. I mean, the animations are scary good. So good that I would see some of Trico in my dog, within the way that she moves and the order in which she would do certain activities, which is something that I've never seen before. I've never seen something in a game that reminds me of a real living thing. This helps a lot when trying to develop a relationship between you and Trico. Trico feels alive, even more alive than most human characters in any game. Trico is adorable. There are times where Trico just stares at you with these baby green eyes, and it's so cute. Throughout the game, you really build a bond with Trico, a bond that I've never experienced before in any form of media. Towards the beginning of the game, you get this shield that somehow connects with Trico so that when you point it at something, lightning shoots out of Trico's tail in that direction. I thought that this was very cool, but unfortunately you lose that shield really early in the game. Eventually you get it back and you can use the shield to shoot lightning at your enemies, and it's so badass. I just wish that they would have let you keep it for the entire game because it was really fun to use. Most of the time, Trico is the only thing you have to protect yourself. Trico goes absolutely apeshit when he sees enemies. And you know, it's awesome. The enemies in this game are fucking creepy. They don't say anything, just walk towards you with their arms out trying to grab the boy and take him away. I mean, look at this shit. Now that's creepy. Something I really liked is that the game forces you to make quick decisions. At times an enemy will be chasing you and you're only going to have about a second to decide which way you're going to go and how you're going to get there. The controls in the game are fine. Not terrible, but not great. Controlling the boy feels smooth and fluid. I love how the boy jumps. It's kind of goofy, but it reminds me of the jumping in Shadow of the Colossus. The controls on the ground are good, but it can be a challenge to climb Trico. I can't tell you how many times I almost climbed right up Trico's ass. And I definitely was not trying to go there. The biggest problem is that damn camera. The camera in this game is just bad. I had so many times where the camera just wigs out and I couldn't see shit. At times, it feels like you're having a battle with the camera itself, and the camera almost always wins. Somehow, the camera in this game is even worse than the one in Shadow of the Colossus, and that's saying something. Honestly, I was a little disappointed with the soundtrack in the game. It's not bad by any means, but there's really only one or two songs that stuck with me. And this surprised me since I loved the entire soundtrack in Shadow of the Colossus, but this one fell a little short for me. So it's kind of hard to talk about the story without spoiling anything, so all I'm going to say is that there isn't really much story until the end, but what is there is really strong and one hell of an experience. Also, when you think the game's over, it's probably not. I made this mistake and almost missed out on the actual end of the game, so make sure to stick around for the true ending.
So now we move on to the biggest question of them all. Is it ass? Absolutely not. While this game is definitely not perfect, it has a ton of charm, and what it does right, it strongly excels at. The bond you make with Trico is unmatched, and it's a game that I'll never forget. And for these reasons, the final score for The Last Guardian is a 9 out of 10. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed my review of The Last Guardian. If you did, drop a like and maybe even hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of content in the works with new games, old games, maybe even some Nintendo Switch talk. So you definitely don't want to miss that. What do you guys think about The Last Guardian? Do you like it? Or do you think it's ass? Leave me a comment below and let me know. But alright guys, I'm getting out of here. So until next time, peace.